boarding pass. Let's go to check-in. Okay, stop staring and let's check my cabin first.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Tushkin.
That's awesome.
Finally, it's time to tell you something about this cruise ship. Meet Allure of the Seas, the third largest cruise liner in the world. To say that this pot is a big one is like saying nothing. The length of the ship is 362 meters. Usually dimensions compare with football fields, so in general, it's like 3 football fields. Height, 72 meters. It's like a 28 floors building. The ship has 18 decks and 2,700 cabins for 6,296 passengers. Service staff, 2,300 people.
To make you understand how huge it is, I will now cross the ship from the beginning to its end.
That's why if you ask me how I relaxed in my cruise trip, I'll say I didn't have time for rest at all. Even moving around the ship during my filming took a lot of time. There are 6 engines with a total capacity of 110,000 horsepower. There's a helipad on the ship and a huge bunch of everything that I'll tell you about later. Okay, when all the characters are represented, let's start our journey. This ship is like a real city, and each city has its central point. This is the Royal Promenade, the main street of the ship, and the place of the main crowd of people. Here, you can find bars, in particular this levitating bar, from which you can't get out for a half an hour, and accordingly, you can't do anything except drinking. In order to carry all the people on the 16 passenger decks, ship has 12 elevators, and these are not usual elevators. As you understand, they can work even in conditions of slight pitching. On the Royal Promenade, there's a trade of everything that's possible. In fact, that is a large floating duty-free, with stores and cafes. Yep, there's a Starbucks too, but about restaurants and cafes, I'll tell you a bit later. Here is a casino. Little hospital. Basic medicines you can buy in the vending machine without a doctor. Several levels with children's playrooms. A fair-sized spa center. Naturally with fresh bar.
Of course I was expected to see the fitness gym, spa center, but jogging track. And now a small experiment. I'm just curious how long is the track. So here is a start. And let's go.
Come on. Hey. Do you hear me? So, I know it's easy to love me. All the other boys going crazy about me. I know it's easy to adore me. All the other boys.
After the Royal Promenade, you can get into the courtyard of the ship. And to make you understand, we've partially seen only 3 lower decks.
This liner is super huge. You can really get lost here.
To prevent this, there are a bunch of monitors with a search system for your cabin. Okay, moving on. Jump into the elevator and reach the upper deck. Here's the bathing part of the liner with numerous swimming pools, bars, etc., and solarium in the bow of the ship, protected from the sun by glass panels. There are many pools here. I counted 16. And now, here's an interesting thing. You're in the middle of the ocean. There's water around you, and you feel the real lack of trees. What do you think they came up with? Well, they created a park. Yes, this is a real park on the ship.
They even record birds' sound to make atmosphere more real, and you have 100% feeling that you are in the city oasis, with no doubts.
Well, let's talk about food. Catering to passengers is carried out in 24 restaurants located on the liner. Most of them are free, in addition to fashionable restaurants such as this one, which was designed for 1,500 people. There are simple cafes, such as the pizzeria, where you can tell, "Oh, give me 2 slices of that margarita," and the Italian chef at the counter will give you.
Thank you.
Big attention to details here. Here, for example, there's an almond, soy, and lactose-free milk. In general, restaurants are situated throughout the whole ship, so you don't need to go more than 5 minutes to the place of snack, wherever you are. I'll honestly say that the kitchen, from the side of how it's organized and how it was made, really surprised me. But let's be honest, people here not only eat. Only soft drinks, such as cola or coffee, are free on the liner. Alcohol drinks is additional cost. Instead of money on the liner, you use your own key card. You can get even internet connection here. It costs around $23 per day.
Big size has its advantages. Most people are afraid of ships and cruises due to seasickness. But on such big liner, you don't feel like you are on the ship. It's so huge that fluctuations are minimal and you will totally forget about your seasickness.
The distinctive feature of Caribbean Sea is its unique color. After 2 days, I thought I've seen the whole ship, but in the evening found out there is concert hall here.
Do you know how many places here? How many seats?
Seats is here in that way and down.
No, how much?
Oh, no, sorry, I
You don't know.
Here.
I'm really not sure. Like, I know that it's over 2,000.
Yes, there's a concert hall for a couple of thousand seats equipped with everything you need. Concerts, musicals, and performances take place there every day. On this day, they performed music Mamma Mia. And you know what? It was really good. At the stern of the liner, there is Aqua Theater. You can watch here aqua shows with athletes from all over the world. Be honest, aqua shows, probably the most spectacular thing I saw during the week on a cruise. This is a very professional circus show. Very powerful stunts, given the fact that athletes perform on a ship that moves. But that's not all. On the third day of the cruise, I found out that in addition to the concert hall and aqua theater, there's also an ice rink. Yes, there's also an ice rink on which ice shows take place. Those shows are also very professional and spectacular. All this atmosphere gives a very unusual feeling. You forget that you're in the open sea, especially in the evening. When the lights turn on, it's really hard to believe that you're on the ship. It looks like usual city place. You just can't believe you're on the ship and moving somewhere.
Listen, I have no idea how they created such liner. If 6,000 people will take a shower, where all this water flows? For another stuff, I even won't question. How? How? Geniuses! Morning. With morning coffee, it's perfect to read a local newspaper. It's something like Cruise Times and you get it every morning. I will show you now.
Here, working schedule of all restaurants and cafes. And what's important, you just now see this, schedule of all activities for today. The same info can be found on the electronic scoreboard on the ship. In short, we'll now talk about. So on the ship, there are 2 climbing walls. Sport fields used for tennis, football, and basketball. Zipline, where you can ride at a height of 15 floors. On the upper deck, there are 2 pools with surf simulator. For kids and adults. The most interesting thing in this activity is watch how people fall. Everyone falls. Some even roll off. It's funny enough. And this is our finalist. He kept well, but fortunately for us, not for long. If you don't like active entertainments, you can play mini golf. Here is always something going on, starting from day parties on the main street, live bands or DJs, and ending with auctions of paintings. The most important event of the evening is photo shoots. Here, everyone coming out in cocktail dresses or in bold costumes. Of course, all entertainment is in English.
And now some pros of sea cruises. I will you why such experience was interesting for me. Because in 1 week trip, you can visit minimum 3 countries.
In my case, it was St. Martin Island. It has famous Maho Beach. No doubts you've seen it in YouTube videos. Also, I visited Puerto Rico and private beach Labadee in Haiti. Very pleasant fact, you do not need any visa for those countries. I was frightened by big crowds of people on the entrance, that it will be too hard to get out of the ship. But in fact, everything turned out to be very fast and organized. Staff even put few points with drinks close to the liner. About shore excursions, you can buy official tour on the ship or can get acquainted with new places by yourself.
Sure, you are curious to know how it works from inside. Even if you are not, I was really interested. And I've bought a special tour. It's called All Access Tour. It costs $120, yes. This tour allows you to enter all the places that are usually hidden from the tourist, such as laundry, kitchen, even the captain bridge. The only moment is that I was forbidden to film during the tour. You know, I tried to solve these problems through the company where I bought my tour, but even they could do nothing for me. I was only allowed to take photos from my phone. I turned on live photos and it allows to record short video, very bad quality, but at least it's something. So, it's gonna be really interesting right now. How the liner works.
Okay, all access tour. Badges on the neck, and let's go. The first and most difficult thing is to feed 6,000 hungry bellies. According to American standards, all food on the liner after cooking should be eaten during 4 hours. All that's not used going to garbage. Therefore, the cooking process here is non-stop. The amount of food that goes to cooking is insane. They use 30,000 dozen of eggs every day. For one cruise, the ship takes dozens tons of provisions. Of course, it needs to be stored somewhere. This is how the numerous warehouses on the liner look like. We can now be here because I shot this video in the middle of cruise. At the time of leaving the port, they're clogged to the ceiling. There is own specific for storage food. For example, fruits should be stored separately from vegetables. Only apples for a week people eat here 12,000 pieces. And now the most interesting, stop between cruises is usually 6 hours. That's why warehouse workers in 6 hours should take, load, and sort dozens tons of products. In general, they're gods of logistics. Hats off to them. Going ahead, this is a motor control center. There are 6 diesel engines on the liner, each of them the size of a bus. Due to this, the ship that weigh more than 200,000 tons can reach speed of 40 kilometers an hour. And I should say that 6 engines at the same time almost never used. This is the heart of the ship, the captain's bridge. And as you can see, despite the most modern navigation systems, the good old binocular haven't been betrayed. All the linen that changes daily in the cabins is washed here. The thing is that only $15,000 per month is spent on washing powder. There's a system for recycling garbage. Liquid waste is pulped and stored at the bottom of the ship. They pulp liquid waste, and solid waste is compressed to solid waste burned right on the ship. In general, the ship is an absolutely autonomous mechanism that works perfectly. And the last thing to say, such liner costs about $1 billion. Operator company Royal Caribbean has several ships, and they built each new ship 50 millimeters longer than the previous one in order to be first in the Guinness Book of Records. The whole ship is awesome. Some design elements, details, in general, there's a feeling that the people who built Allure of the Seas paid attention on every corner of that liner. The thing is that this is not a paid video. I was not affiliated with the Royal Caribbean Company. But honestly, I was very surprised how everything is organized here, especially service staff. They all done very well and provided an excellent service. And one last thing, here is this man with some coffee. This is the captain of the ship. He's Canadian. He just went out to talk with guests, and it's really sweet.
Wait. Which one of you dropped my butt? All right, enjoy.
Captain, can I just shake your hand?
Sure.
You're so friendly person. Really.
Where are you from?
From Ukraine.
Oh, Ukraine, welcome.
Yeah. And I just have done excursion out to the store, and
Yep.
the guide said so many good words about you. So
Where?
many.
Where did you go?
All access tour.
Oh, the all access tour.
Yeah.
Oh God, don't believe anything the crew tell you. That's right. That's always a bad idea.
Spectacular views, available during cruise just from your window. Your cabin is totally unreal. Beautiful, very beautiful.